You're watching the Weiss channel. Da, 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 da. Today we're going to talk about circle area puzzles. Okay. Take a look at this circle. We're going to find the area of the blue region. This region around the donut part where the lines are. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Do you see that this piece here is 5.5 and this piece here is 6? Well, the area of a circle is pi r squared, pi times radius squared. So what's the radius of the entire circle? Hopefully you will agree that we're going to take 5.5 plus 6 to get 11.5. So we're going to do pi times 11.5 squared. Just like that. Now, what is the area of just the inner circle? The inner circle, the radius is 5.5. So we're going to subtract that. So we're going to take pi times 11.5 squared, and we're going to subtract pi times 5.5 squared. Okay. Now, what I'm going to recommend that you do is either use your Delta Math assignment, and you can type this right into the calculator. Use the calculator function on Delta Math, or quite frankly, you can use it on the Desmos calculator. If you use desmos.com and click on scientific calculator, you just type in your numbers here. I'm going to type in 11.5 and I'm going to type in 5.5. Okay, and you can leave this setup for every problem. See how I have parentheses there? You just type all that in and it automatically gives you your answer. Okay, 320.44245507, right? So 320.442450666158, okay? Delta Math is going to ask you to round to the 10th place. That's going to be one digit after the decimal. So that's going to be 320.4, okay? So all you have to do for each problem now is you leave this setup in place and you just change the numbers for every problem, okay? So for example here, now notice the difference between this problem and this problem. Do you see how here we had to add 5.5 plus 6? But here, it already tells you that the radius of the bigger circle is 8.5 and the smaller circle is 3. So now you don't even have to add. You just say, all right, I'm going to do pi times 8.5 squared minus pi times 3 squared. And I get 198.705. Okay, my answer is 198.7. Same thing here, look, the bigger circle radius is already given to me. So I'm going to do pi times 11.5 squared minus pi times 9 squared. And I'm going to type in 161.0. Probably need to type in the 0.0. Okay. Over here, once again, now I have to add 7 plus 2. 7 plus 2 is 9, so I'm going to do pi times 9 squared minus pi times 7 squared. Okay. By the way, you're using the pi key. Do not use 3.14 for Delta Math because it'll mark your answer wrong. Okay. So here the answer is 100.5. All right. Here's another type of problem where you have a square, a circle inside the square, okay? So we're going to find the striped area. Okay, what is the area of the striped region? Well, hopefully you recall that the area of a square is just side times side, right? Or length times width, or base times height, whatever you want to call it. Side times side, 16 times 16, or 16 squared. Now, if the length of one side is 16, right, what is this going to be? What is the radius of the circle going to be, right? If the length of one side is 16, isn't the radius going to be 8, right? So we're going to do 16 squared minus pi times 8 squared, right? 54.9. Okay. Please try this on your Desmos calculator or your Delta Math calculator to make sure you understand how it works. Okay. Now look at this problem. This one just gives me the radius of the circle. Well, if the radius of the circle is 7, if that's 7, well, then isn't this guy here 7? And what's 7 plus 7? 14, right? So doesn't that mean that the length of one side is 14? So we're going to do 14 squared minus pi times 7 squared, right? Now, please be careful, right? If you get 42.061959997, you need to go to the nearest tenth. The tenths place has a 0, but look at the 6 next to the 0. That rounds you up to 42.1. If you put 42.0, you'll get it wrong. Okay, 42.1. Okay, over here. What is the radius of the circle? If the length of one side is 9, isn't this radius going to be 4.5, right? So we're going to do 9 squared minus pi times 4.5 squared, right? 173.38, which is going to be, 17.38, which is going to round to 17.4. Here, once again, I'm given the radius is 6. Doesn't that mean the length of one side will be 12, right? So I'm going to do 12 squared minus pi times 6 squared, right? And I'll get 30.90 or 30.9. The last type of problem we're going to look at today is a circle within a circle. Okay. Now, we're going to look for the striped area. What is the area of the striped region? All right. So, do you see this 14 here? 14 is actually the diameter of the smaller circle, right? But do you see how this point here is the center? This is the center of the circle. So that means 14 is the radius of the big circle. Now, if 14 is the radius of the big circle, what's the radius of the small circle? Isn't that going to be 7? That's going to be 7, right? So we're going to do pi times 14 squared minus pi times 7 squared. The whole circle is going to be pi times 14 squared. And this circle here is going to be pi times 7 squared. So you subtract. Pi times 14 squared minus pi times 7 squared. 461.81 or 461.8. Now look here. See how it gave us 14, and in this one, it gives us 7. This is actually the same exact problem, right? Because if this small circle has a radius of 7, that means this here is also 7, making the radius of the big circle, 14. So we have the same exact numbers here and the same answer. Okay. Another example, right? If that guy there is 20, the radius of the big circle is 20, doesn't that mean the radius of the little circle is 10, right? So we're going to do pi times 20 squared minus pi times 10 squared. And you get 942.47, which rounds to 942.5. One more time. Here you have 8 is the radius of the big circle. Doesn't that mean that the radius of the small circle is 4, right? So you're going to do pi times 8 squared minus pi times 4 squared, right? Which gives you 150.79, which simplifies to 150.8. You've been watching the Weiss channel.